Welcome to Bull TV, where we are bullish on Collierville. I'm your host, David Pickler. Bull TV is a monthly show that empowers, educates, and entertains while highlighting the citizens of Collierville who inspire and deliver solutions for a stronger community. Bull TV is presented by PICKLER Companies and is proudly produced by the students of Collierville High School. We invite you to watch our show at www.bulltv.show, thebullnetwork.com, and CHS-TV 19. New episodes air on the second Sunday of every month at 3 p.m. Central Time. On today's show, we sit down with Mollie Walker, Vice President and Managing Director of Business Development at Simmons Bank. Join us for this inside look at how Mollie has not only built a successful career, but how she's also paving the way for future generations of female leaders. Don't miss this episode as we discuss Mollie's impact on our community, why she leads with such passion and purpose, and how she advocates for inclusive access to fertility treatments for all Tennesseans. Today I'm joined by Mollie Walker. Mollie Walker is a Collierville native and Vice President and Managing Director of Business Development at Simmons Bank. Mollie is energetic and is very passionate about being involved in the community, where she currently serves as President of the Collierville Rotary Foundation Board and is actively engaged in the Collierville Chamber. She's a proud alumnus of the University of Memphis and attends Grace Valley Church. She is wife to Taylor and proud mother of two beautiful children, Lawson, who's 7, and Noah, who's 4. However, the road to having them was not easy. After years of trying to conceive, enduring 2 miscarriages with no insurance coverage for fertility treatments left Mollie feeling overwhelmed, lonely, and hopeless at times. She gave her pain a purpose and co-founded Tennessee Fertility Advocates alongside Lauren Brown. Tennessee Fertility Advocates is a pro-family group of Tennesseans taking a stand, creating awareness, and advocating for fertility health care coverage so that all Tennesseans can access the medical treatments they need. She now passionately advocates to remove the financial barriers for other Tennesseans struggling with the disease of infertility. She was recognized as the 2021 Remarkable Woman of Memphis by WREG Nexstar, as well as a 2021 Woman of Impact from the American Heart Association, and voted as the Collierville Herald Reader's Choice 2021 Best Banker in Collierville. Mollie, thank you for joining us on Bull TV.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Well, we're going to have some fun.
Oh, I know it. Absolutely.
All right. If you watched the shows and you told me you have, then this first question will not be a surprise.
That's right.
So tell us in 3 words.
Okay.
Who is Mollie Walker?
You know, I knew that question was coming, and I asked people just to see what they would say. But honestly, like the 3 words for myself are driven, passionate, and an advocate.
Love it. Those are great words.
And it was a combination. I did get feedback. I just enjoyed hearing what 3 words like my coworkers would, describe me as, and husband as well. So.
Well, I have to ask you a question. Were there any words that surprised you?
No, they all pretty much nailed it. Yeah, they all nailed it really well.
They know you pretty well, huh?
That's it. They do. They're great. Yes.
Well, that's great. All right. Well, Mollie, I know you have been, a long time, really a lifelong Colliervillian.
Yes.
So what is your favorite part of living and working here in Collierville?
Well, oh my goodness. Favorite part, it would be probably at this stage of my life, seeing my kids go to the schools that I went to. I went to Terre Oaks the first year they opened. I was in 2nd grade. Okay. And now walking my daughters down the same hall, it's just priceless. We are so blessed to have such an incredible community, incredible leadership. I just can't say enough good things about our town. So it's just an honor to really raise my family in the town that I grew up in.
Well, that's one of the great things about Collierville,
Right.
and really why we do this show.
Sure.
Because it really is about what an amazing place we have.
Yes.
And when you talk about the schools,
I know.
I remember years ago, our former mayor, Herman Wright Cox,
Yeah.
the legend,
Yeah.
talked about really, if you think about why Collierville is here, it's because of the schools.
That's right.
And it's such a neat experience to be able to share that with your daughter.
Right. And my family, they live so close. So my mom and my grandparents, they all live within about 2 minutes. My in-laws, I mean, we would not trade that for the world. So
Lots of built-in babysitting, huh?
That's right. Yes, we're getting our money's worth right there.
Well, that's great. When you look back at your younger years, growing up in Collierville and going through Collierville School, like you talked about, was there something that inspired you, that made you want to grow up and make a difference in this community that you grew up in?
You know, there's so much. One, I will say, I've had just been so blessed with some incredible teachers in Collierville schools. I mean, one is right here. Her name's Bobby Bell, if she watches this, but she's a teacher at high school here in Collierville, and she was one of mine too when I was growing up. And I actually did a tour of the school not too long ago, and I got to stop by her class, and she still had a picture of the group of girls that she taught, and just people like her that just poured into me at a younger age, and they saw something in me that I didn't see in myself at that time. Just priceless, absolutely priceless.
Well, so right, you know, they always say that teachers touch eternity.
They do.
They will never know where their influence will lead.
Oh, absolutely. That's so true.
That's
Right.
great. Well, so what is it that led you to banking? You know, had you always wanted to be in finance?
No.
Or was that your childhood dream?
No. This is like my favorite story to tell. If there's anything I hope somebody gains from this, is the power of relationships.
Okay.
So I danced competitive dance all growing up. Team danced for Collierville schools. I danced for University of Memphis Pom Squad.
Yep.
And I met a man by the name Charles Burkett at Houston's. I was a greeter at Houston's for 3 years, cleaning tables during college to pay my way for my own living and all that stuff. And after 3 years, I got to know him and his wife really well just from coming into Houston's. And I said, I'm going to do my internship. It was in marketing at Alsec St. Jude. He gave me his card and he said, well, when you need a job, you call me. And I looked down and I'm like, okay. Obviously, he had a huge job. He was president of First Horizon at that time. And I was like, but banking? Like thinking to myself, I'm never going to do banking. Well, my internship ended and I needed a job. And I really loved Charles. And so I called him and he said, come down. And the rest was history. I've been in banking ever since and I absolutely love it. But it's just, I never thought it would be, but God just kind of had other plans. Yeah.
Well, as you say, the power of relationships.
So important.
You never know, what kind of doors will open
right.
up for you.
That's
if you
right.
keep yourself open and really
That's right.
accessible to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
So what has been the most challenging aspect of your career so far?
I think the most challenging thing is that learning to just, as a female in business and learning to just overcome obstacles, and be willing to take risk. And I think we're like, oh, I don't know if I should say yes to this opportunity or no, just really just thinking back, looking at challenges in my career is probably just not knowing sometimes what direction to take and who to lean on that I can trust. And but I've been so blessed to have amazing mentors in my life, and so that's how I've really used those people to overcome kind of some of those challenges of the unknown.
So you talked about there are times you didn't know, whether to accept a challenge or not. So what were some of the things that help you make those decisions and make those good choices?
Well, again, it goes back to relationships, the power of it. So I've been blessed to have female mentors, male mentors, of different ages throughout all the organizations I've worked for and even outside of work. And just obviously, I lean a lot on my faith and through prayer, but some of those challenges, just seeking out advice from those who are smarter than me. They know more than I do. They've been down this road. That's so powerful, I think.
That's great.
Yeah.
So you've obviously had a very successful journey.
Yeah.
So what would be the best career advice that you could give the people who are watching this show?
Oh my gosh, the best career advice I could give would be to trust your instincts.
Okay.
Yeah, it's hard to say just one because I'd be like, trust your instincts and have confidence in yourself. I think too often we doubt our abilities, and that can really get in the way of some amazing opportunities if we just go trust ourselves a little bit more, and not let the fear of the unknown really kind of, oh, I don't know what that looks like on the other side of this door, but, just embrace it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've had a very simple philosophy of life for the past 40 or 50 years.
Right.
I always look at something, an opportunity, and I say, you never want to look back and say, what if?
Exactly.
And if this is the kind of thing that you can say, wow, what if I don't pursue
Right.
that, if I don't take advantage of the opportunity? As you say, follow your gut,
Yeah.
follow your instincts.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Very
Absolutely.
important. Well, let's turn the table a little bit. You have been an incredibly active member of the Collierville Chamber, and really, I see you at almost every event that's out there, and it's incredible. Discuss, if you can, the importance, of the chamber to you, and also in your role with Simmons Bank.
Absolutely. So, Mark with the chamber, it's just grown leaps and bounds over the past few years, right? You've seen everything that is. Little events have become big events, and the who, everybody is there, right? But to me, being a chamber member, you're going to get out what you put in. You know that. So, to me, it's about building relationships. It's not about selling products. It's not about selling the bank. It's about building relationships with people and connecting. And the chamber's just been a great platform for that. And I've built some incredible relationships through being a member, but it has helped get Simmons' name and their brand out there, and so for that I'm always thankful for. But we just love to be involved in the community, and being a member of the chamber is a big, to me, it's a great center of influence for everyone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, as you know, Mark was our guest of the show last month.
I heard.
And in fact, when we told him that you were going to be up here, he said, get ready.
That's it. Mark is fantastic. I actually get some of my best ideas come from Mark, because I'll just call him and say, can you talk about this? Let's talk through this, whether it be work or personal. And he's always just a great listener. And that is such a great characteristic as well.
Well, it really is. And,
Yeah.
and it was, I've obviously had the chance to work with Mark ever since he came on board. And even prior to that, when he was at MLGNW and the town of Collierville. But it was so fascinating, really to get to know inside his personal life and who he really is all about, his faith and everything.
Right.
Amazing guy.
He is, absolutely.
That's awesome. Now, you also serve in a capacity as the president of the Collierville Rotary Foundation Board. And discuss a little bit about why this organization is so significant to you.
Collierville Rotary is really one of my top favorites. I mean, it's really up there with the chamber, but Rotary is so important to me because it's about service. This is where we are here to serve. And so being president of the foundation allows us, we do all different activities throughout the year to raise money, and they go back to Collierville communities, and people apply for grants, and then being in the foundation, we obviously, as a board, collectively decide where those funds go, and they go back to the Collierville community. But it is service above self, people of action, and it has been just an incredible experience. Some of my favorite relationships have been developed through the Rotary experience. And when I walked in, a lot of Rotarians, they didn't look like I did. They were a little bit older, and they were all males. And I'm like, we need to get a little bit of diversity in here. Let's go. And they have embraced me with like open arms, and we really, really, I think, have impacted the next generation. Like a lot more of the younger crowd, and just showing them how important it is to get involved in our community. Because, at the end of the day, that's what we're setting for our children. That's the example that we're setting, right? So it's an incredible organization.
Well, I totally agree with you. I've actually been a Kiwanian for about 40 years.
Right.
And so one of the things I actually was going to follow up with you on is we've seen in all service organizations across the board a significant decline in membership, and it's been a real challenge to get the younger generations involved. So what would be you talked a little bit about it, but what would be your motive, your message to service organizations, or maybe even to younger generation, about the meaning and the power of service and how it can make a difference in their lives?
Well, I think it starts with believing in it yourself. And like for me to get in there and see, wow, like I didn't even know what Rotary was about. And to start telling my friends, like, why don't you come join me and be my guest and get to meet these people? And so really using like word of mouth, utilizing social media, highlighting your members, trying to really think of, hey, we might have done it this way for so long, but let's look at a different way.
Exactly.
And maybe my way is not the right way, and in a few years we're going to be changing things and stuff, but we all work together to collaborate of what does that look like to try to reach the next generation. They're on their phones. They're doing a lot of the stuff on their phones. So you got to be highlighting short little videos. You need to be highlighting your members. You need to be spreading awareness and building your brand through that. And so everybody at Rotary, they've just been, yes, let's do it. Let's do it. And you get a few great members in, and man, I tell you, the word just, it's just been incredible.
Well, I'm sure it's created a great new energy in the organization.
Oh, I think so. Absolutely. It is something I look forward to every week.
That is great.
Yes.
Well, and as we saw in your bio, you gave your pain purpose.
Yes.
And, obviously going through, the multiple miscarriages. And, talk about your road.
Yeah.
And talk a little bit, if you would, about how the Tennessee Fertility Advocates was founded, if you wouldn't mind.
Absolutely. So, I truly believe that we experience things in our lives where we might not know, why is this pain happening to me?
Right.
Whether it's a disease, whether it's a loss of a loved one. My best friend, she died when I was a senior in high school at Carterville. And we actually outside, it was the other day, I was out here with Frank Warren on the school board, and he was giving me a tour, and we were looking at the pavement, blocks outside, and I literally looked down, and it said, in memory of Jill Freevert. And that was just such a neat moment right then. But I've had this life where people on the outside who don't know me, they could say, oh, she has it all put together and she's energetic and, she's always at events. And really the journey to get to where I am today, and it's still processing, right? Every day I'm not fully developed. I always say I'm developing the advocate within because we're just constantly developing. But to go back, I had my husband and I struggled with infertility, which is a disease of the reproductive system, for multiple years, and it affects like 1 in 8 couples. And you don't realize we got married, we were young, we were energetic, and we just thought having kids was going to be easy.
Right.
You get married, and what do they ask? When are you having kids? When can I have my grandbabies?
I'm having that conversation with my daughter.
Of course, yes. And the next thing I know, years passed, and I knew I had something wrong with myself and sought treatment, had multiple miscarriages, found out I had a blood clotting disorder. And all of those things can be treatable with medication. However, I didn't have any insurance coverage for infertility. And it's up to employers to add that. States can often, they can have mandated laws as well. And it was just a very difficult road, about 5 to 6 years of every month wanting to have a baby. Wow. And I'm now blessed with, we're blessed with 2 beautiful children. My husband's obviously been a huge support for me and my faith. I just can't say enough about what God has shown me through this. But that statement, "Given my pain a purpose," started with the lady Marianne Dunavant, who went through her own pain. And she said something that she said, and it's always stuck with me. She gives her pain a purpose, and that's something that I want to do. I want to give my pain a purpose. I felt alone. I felt depressed. And on top of the financial burdens of all of that, it's just people don't talk about it.
Right.
So Lauren Brown and I started Tennessee Fertility Advocates in hopes to create awareness, give people a community of support, hopefully see employers add coverage and help advocates advocate for that. And then also work with Tennessee legislators, because it should be covered by insurance. This is a disease, so it should be covered. And it just goes back to awareness. Yeah.
Wow. What a journey. I wasn't completely aware of all the things that were involved with it until just this conversation. And it really brought me back to a situation with my daughter-in-law.
Yeah.
She had a pregnancy that ended due to a blood clot. And then she very shortly had another miscarriage. And had to go through extensive work, and we were blessed to have another grandchild.
Yeah.
But I know from the standpoint of not of a mother, but of a grandfather.
Right.
The incredible pain and the frustration and
Exactly.
just so God bless you for what you're doing.
Well, people
with that.
just don't talk about it, and I'm just tired of that. Like, if there's anything I could say is that there's nothing to be ashamed of.
No.
I felt ashamed because I didn't know anyone else who really wanted to talk about it. And that's one of my goals, is to speak up and do things like this. I will share my journey with anyone that will listen in hopes that it gives someone comfort. And so that's really important.
Well, and the issue you're talking about people not talking about,
Yeah.
you know, when we started sharing our story with some friends,
Yeah.
we found more and
Always.
more and more stories of people that experienced something very
Yeah.
similar.
Right.
And at different stages of the pregnancy.
That's right.
And so, again, this is something that we all need to go together
right.
because, you know, these are people going through private pain.
That's right. That's right.
And we need to make sure they understand they're not alone.
Yeah, that's it.
And
right.
and so, but you say the businesses are something that there's something they need to be encouraged to offer this type of care.
Absolutely. So if you look around, there's International Paper has infertility coverage. We have here locally True Green, Starbucks. You can be part-time at Starbucks and get $20,000 towards infertility.
Wow.
There's companies like Progeny. It's an infertility benefits company that larger employers can look at adding on as a benefit.
Mm-hmm.
So those that have infertility and need treatment can get access to care. But when coverage is offered, people are less likely to go really extensive and like transfer multiple embryos or have twins or triplets because they didn't have the finances. Like, they
Right.
can make better decisions. It's safer for the moms, it's safer for the babies, and it is great for the employees. When I asked International Paper, I said, why did you choose to add the coverage? Because you don't have to add it. Why did you choose? He said, the next generation, we know what's important to them. Family building and paying off student loan debt. And like, so those are two of the things that they looked at.
Without
And to me,
question.
that speaks volumes. And I work at Simmons, and they actually have great infertility coverage, which is such a blessing to see. Because to me, it shows they value family building. They value it, you know, and they are taking a stance. So for that, I'm so thankful.
That's great. So you've obviously done so much already,
Yeah.
but what milestones, you know, that have been achieved in your campaign of awareness and advocacy, or the things you particularly would like to talk about?
Well, so we started in 2020, in the summer of 2020 after COVID.
Okay.
We didn't know what we were doing. Lauren and I, we were like, I don't know what to do. We created a GoDaddy website.
Okay.
We created some social media accounts, and now we've grown to be the largest grassroots organization in the U.S. for infertility.
Wow.
So for the state of Tennessee, we have over 7,000 members across the state, and we are advocating with legislation. We got to meet with Governor Bill Lee last year, and it was such an eye-opener is to just learn what it means to lobby, advocate for bill. Due to certain things, we had to press pause on that legislation. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes that's okay to step back and say, we need to continue educating our lawmakers, and we need to educate employers. And I mean, there's so many things I could highlight, but it goes back to advocates. The best thing is hearing advocates say, I have found like my best friend through this group. Mm-hmm. I've found support when I had no support.
There you go.
Days I didn't think I could get out of bed, I get out of bed because I know that I have other people who are going through it too.
Wow.
So I could talk to you all day about what we've done with the news and the media and the government, but at the end of the day, that stuff is great, but what matters is people's lives being changed. So.
Okay, well, let's take the next step then.
Yeah.
How can others join your effort? How can others get involved with Tennessee Fertility Advocates and really join your stand for inclusive access to this type of care?
So our website is tnfertilityadvocates.com. Mm-hmm. There's a button there that says Take Action. You can just fill that out, and that is a really great way to get involved. Our social media accounts as well, to join those, and also just share. If you, like, we do a thing called Meet the Advocates, where we just highlight our advocates. Some people just they want to share their story, but they don't know really how to word it, where to do that. And so we love to help them share their story.
Sure.
Maybe you read something that's impactful. Hit share. You never know who that's going to reach or who it will touch. And so really just getting involved on social media and just helping share. We just finished National Infertility Awareness Week and not too long ago, and that's a great opportunity to engage local media, lawmakers, your employer. Ask for coverage. Even if you don't struggle with the disease, I promise you there is a lot of people around you who do, and they're too scared to share their story. They're ashamed. And so why don't you ask? So there's a bunch of different ways.
Wow.
Email me, message me. I'll help.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
call Mollie.
Coffee. I'll do whatever. Yeah.
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, Mollie, clearly, you are an inspiring
Thank you.
leader, and you certainly have been recognized for some very impressive accolades. I mean, we talk about the 2021 Remarkable Woman of Memphis. How do you define success?
My goodness, that story of being nominated for that and then chosen was just such a whirlwind. I just feel so blessed to have such incredible people in my life. You know, to me, I don't define this. Success is not defined by the number of dollars that you make. Mm-hmm. To me, it's about how are you truly making a difference in the lives that you're serving, whether it be in your work, at your home, or you stay at home mom, like you're impacting the lives of your kids. Success just, it's about what's within, right? Like, how are you just continuing to grow? I mean, I could define it 50 million ways, but it's to me, it's more about the impact.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, you've certainly made an impact.
Thank you.
And so let's talk a little bit about, you know, the impact on you.
Yeah.
You know, how has the community involvement that you've had impacted your life?
Oh, my goodness. In priceless ways, even from being involved in like our Carterville cop stops that we do to host police officers, from doing things that we do for teachers. We did dragon games, and that was, you know, for Special Olympics and with Carterville schools. Those things give back more so to me than I feel like I could ever give to them. I could write a check or Simmons could donate money, but the amount of joy that I've received from hosting those events or being involved is priceless. And so I think it's more about, you know, what you give rather than, you know, than what you receive. So, yeah.
You know, Winston Churchill has had a great quote. He said, "We make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give." And to me, it's one of the great lines of all time.
Yeah.
This can be a hard question for you. Maybe not. Because of all the things you've been involved in, whether it be Rotary or whether it be Chamber or whether it be the work you do with Simmons, your family, your faith, the foundation, but what are you most passionate about?
Well, you kind of just named a whole bunch of things. So I look at my kids, and I know that's probably an easy answer, but
no, it's a good one.
To me, like my husband and my kids are what I'm most passionate about. Everything else is great, but you could take it all away, and if I just had them, I would be just fine. Yeah. It's my faith and it's my family. Yeah, for sure.
That works.
Yep.
I love it. And if you look back through your career, what is one or two things that you wish that you could tell your former self, knowing what you know now?
Oh my God.
Go back in time.
Right? Don't you wish
take that little 16-year-old aside and say, let me talk to you about something.
Oh my goodness. Well, I would, if I could do anything a little bit different, I would actually like really get more involved in like internships and volunteering at a younger age. I think I know I did as a youth. Like I was, you know, I wasn't as focused on others. I think it was more about myself at that age. We're a teenager and we know what's best and that type of thing. But honestly, being involved is something I wish I would have started at an earlier age. My mom, she was a single mom and did the best she could to raise myself and my brother, and she's incredible. And I got to observe what it means to be like an independent woman. And I wish, you know, if I could just tell myself, it would just be to be a little bit more engaged, to be involved, and not be afraid to like speak up and speak your truth. Like I think too often we feel silenced, and like as a female, and especially with infertility, I just didn't for years. And this is like, I'm a huge extrovert, okay? Like I am a
I hadn't noticed that.
Very huge extrovert. Married to someone who's polar opposite of me, but it works. But I did not feel that I could even say that what I was going through. And I wish, like, why was I like that? I should have just said, no, this is what I'm struggling with, and it's okay. Like, so if there's anything, I was just probably, you know, getting a little bit more involved as I was growing up, and then obviously not being afraid to just speak up. Yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic. You know, you've lived in Collierville basically all your life.
That's right.
What Colliervillian has made the greatest impact on your life?
Missy Marshall. hands down.
Great person.
Missy is incredible. And I met Missy Marshall. She's our alderman, and I met her through the Collierville Chamber Women's Leadership Luncheon a few years ago. And, you know, one of my favorite things is, you know, asking people what's their favorite pieces of advice. Or, like, with Missy, as soon as she finished speaking that day, I just remember I went up to her and I was like, I would love to have lunch with you. I would love to have lunch with you. And she's like, okay. And from then on, we've had such an incredible relationship. And I've gone to her with guidance, with legislation, with personal stuff, with business. And she is just such an incredible role model. And I've just been so blessed to know her and call her friend.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a great one.
She's great.
So what does the future of Mollie Walker look like as a successful female leader?
Yes.
Because I know we hadn't talked as much about, you know, the work that you've done, you know, with the Collierville Women's Network and all that. So talk to me about what does the future look like for you?
I love seeing women in business. I love encouraging women. To me, I feel like you are a great leader by how you lift up others, whether it be your male counterparts, female, whatever. Your team is like my team. I couldn't do anything without them.
Exactly.
Period. And so I'm the first one to tell you, like, the stuff that I do, it does not happen on my own. It is a complete team. To me, success in the future is doing what I love to do with the people I love to do it with, and to make a change, make a difference in people's life. You know, I could tell you I'd love to one day be CEO of some big company and the female CEO, and maybe while that's great, God might have other plans. And so I just really trust in his journey for me. And, you know, I've been told no a lot. I've applied for jobs and not gotten it. And at the time, I've wondered why.
You mean somebody's actually told Mollie Walker no?
Yep, they sure have. And, you know, I am so thankful for some of those no's. I look back and I think, Lord, you knew what you were doing when he took me from one location to another or one job to another. And I just couldn't fully see it. The advocacy stuff, I would have probably never had the time or opportunities to do if I hadn't gotten involved in certain organizations. And, you know, so everything, it has its purpose, right? And I'm just so blessed to have an incredible team, incredible family, a great support system. Yeah.
Okay. You've talked about some of the great mentors you've had in your life. I'm going to give you an opportunity to be a bit of a mentor to all these great kids at Collierville High School.
Yeah.
You know, here we are filming this amazing school, incredible facility, and you talked about when you were going here.
Yeah.
The Collierville High School TV station didn't look quite like this.
No, we had our VHS tapes. Yes, we did.
But what would be the message that you would like to impart to the students of Collierville High School as it relates to leadership?
Oh, I love that so much. I would say seek as much knowledge as you can at that age. I wish I would have done more of that, but just seeking out people that are white, you know, that maybe this is a field you're not sure if you like. Go ask to shadow them for a day. You know, get engaged in your community. Realize that just because your age, don't let that hinder you. You know, that you have the power to make a difference. It really just takes one person with a vision and a goal and a dream, and just do it, right?
Light that spark.
Just do it. Light it. And if you're passionate about it, go for it. But I would just, I can't encourage enough to seek mentors at a younger age, get involved, give back, you know, do more of that. Less about yourself and more about others.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, you are really just getting started as far as I'm concerned, but years from now, decades from now, when you're reflecting back on your career, what would you like to be your legacy, your impact that you're leaving on this world?
Well, when I look back, I mean, years from now, or, you know, as I told you, my best friend, she got killed in a car wreck my senior year of high school. So for high schoolers that are watching, we never think it could happen to us, and it did. And life could be gone in the blink of an eye. And I want people, whether it be work related, whether it be personally related, where they look back over my life and they say, she is someone that inspired me to be a better person, that impacted me in a way that helped me want to reach out and help others, right? Because you know how often, I mean, I don't know about you, but I've had those moments where I'm just like, Lord, I can't make it through another day. And God will just send these simple blessings to, and maybe it's a form of just someone just checking on you at the right moment, at the right time. And so, I don't know, I would just say, I would love to be known as someone who just gave her whole heart to everybody that she could, knowing when to say no, and creating some of those boundaries. We didn't talk about that, but boundaries are a big one. But just somebody who lives a life of just love. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mollie, first of all, you are an inspiration.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you for the courage
Thanks.
that you brought, and more importantly, the awareness that you're
Right.
creating, so that other families,
Yeah.
men and women, because I remember in reading one of your speeches, you talked about in the area of infertility that can be 1/3 men,
Yeah.
1/3 women,
That's
1/3
right.
unknown,
That's right.
and that unknown.
Yeah.
You know, it's for so many people, they feel like they are alone.
That's right.
And because of the work you're doing,
Yeah.
you know, with Tennessee Fertility Advocates,
Yeah.
you're paving a way for them
I
to
hope so.
know that they're not alone.
Right. I hope I look at my children and I think I pray that they don't have this disease, but if they do, that coverage would be already offered by the time they get older. You know, could you imagine a world years ago where mammograms, they really weren't covered by insurance?
Yeah.
Right? Could you imagine that today? I couldn't.
No.
I pray that that's what infertility comes to, you know, where they can't imagine a world without infertility coverage. And so, you know, I'm just so thankful. I'm so thankful for the opportunity to be here.
Well, I want to thank you for joining us here
Yeah.
on Bull TV, sharing your story with
Yeah.
our viewers, the passion that you're displaying, because this is a way that you're changing lives.
Thank you.
And you're an inspiration, you're a positive attitude, such a ray of light, and so God bless each and
Thank
you know,
you.
for what you do, and thank you for everything you do for our
Thank you
community.
so much.
The great American journalist, writer, and filmmaker Nora Ephron offered encouragement to all women when she said, above all, be the heroine of your life, not the victim. The word hero is often overused in our society. When I think of heroism, words such as courage, selflessness, valor, and honor immediately come to mind. Some of our greatest examples of these qualities walk among us every day. They're community volunteers, faith-based leaders, and service organization members. They bring passion and purpose in everything they do. Mollie Walker is a living embodiment of heroism. She is a passionate ambassador for advancing opportunities for women and for those dealing with the heartbreak of infertility. We are living in times of tremendous challenge. This is a time when we need real community heroes to step up and lead with passion and purpose. The content of their character will be like a shining beacon to illuminate the path forward for all to see. Thank you, Mollie Walker, for your courage, your selflessness, your valor, and your honor. Nora Ephron would be proud to call you a heroine. And that is my 2 cents. Until next time, I'm your host, David Pickler. Thank you for watching Bull TV, where together we deliver solutions for a stronger community.